with Craig Pollard on pole. Can he convert that? Yesterday, Rob Wellham was mighty off the line. The 5-second board is showing. Round 3, the F1000 Championship is underway. As the lights go up, Pollard slides off of pole. And like others, Wellham again has made a good one. He's got ahead of Gore by the time they get to paddock, but he's not as good as yesterday's start. And Craig Pollard, the double Formula V champion, leads. Higginson is second. From Gadd, you've got 3 750 Motor Club champions at the front there, and then the rest of the field flow through the hairpin.
And the next pair, absolutely side by side. Dan Gore on the outside, I can see. That was dramatic. He got back past Rob Wellham, and so much work done in these early laps. Clennell dives across the other side of Keir, trying to get in the background, trying to get past him. Wellham quick into the braking area here for Clearways.
Craig Pollard, the only driver in that top 5. He's not won an F1000 Championship race before. He got some podiums last year. He wasn't a winner, but he leads by a decent margin of 3/4 of a second at the end of the first lap. So it's the former V champion ahead of the RGB champ from the past, Matt Higginson. The reigning F1000 champion Tom Gadd is there in 3rd. Dan Gore's 4th. He's not been a champion before. And then Rob Wellham, another F1000 champion, in 5th. Tom Westworth has just lost out on 6th. Chaz Hyton, who's had pretty good pace all weekend.
Yeah, that's right. It's Hyton and Westworth in the car that's new for this season. Duracell coloured car, sort of black and bronze. There is Rob Wellham charging through Surtees after Dan Gore. But these are the chasers, and there's our leader, and it's Craig Pollard who's out ahead in the Team Sellers car.
And for second place, Gadd in that Sellers car dives up the inside of Higginson, the Mattel run machine, bit sliding around, but Higginson's held on there ahead of Gadd. A quick first effort there from Pollard, a 45.4, pretty much as quick as we've seen in the races all weekend. But early on this time, in the other races when it was perhaps a bit colder track temperature, it took a little while for the slick tyres to get up to temp. But Pollard's gone away by a second in these early stages. Obviously confident on the cold tyres. Craig Pollard last year was his first season racing slick shod machines in car racing. There's Tom Gadd in 3rd spot. Higginson now going back after the leader, even faster. Dan Gore gets the fastest lap, 45.358. In front of him, Tom Gadd was crossed up through Paddock Hill Bend. These are single-seaters with slicks and wings that you can slide around but still get lap time out of. So Dan Gore with the aimshop.com fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, 45.358 that is for Dan Gore.
Fastest lap of the race weekend, Pollard earlier, 0.338. We're only 200ths away from that. We went quicker in qualifying yesterday. But in the race, you need to keep your slick tyres underneath you throughout. And we're going faster. There's the fastest straight lap of the weekend. Matthew Higginson, 45.256. Last year, F1000 set, and it was Higginson again last year, set the fastest lap of the season on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Faster than British Formula 4 cars on less than a tenth of the budget. And who may claim that this year and set the benchmark for the F4 cars that will be here in a few weeks. There's Gadd. He's in 3rd. I don't think we've really seen a pass all weekend during the sort of the bulk of the race. So
no, they're so closely matched, aren't they? And they're not quite close enough to make a move into paddock, particularly. There's Dan Gore in the second of the Mattel cars in here. Craig Pollard, 45.249 now.
Do you think with the sun out for the first time, Marcus, that's helping the lap times at all?
It's difficult to tell, isn't it? I mean, it's not putting any great temperature into the tarmac, that's for sure. But cool air might be good for the engines.
Certainly been that this weekend. Maybe a change of wind direction since the earlier races. Maybe just changing the setup as everyone gets more used to running on the Hoosiers. And we're going to go even faster on lap 6. And it's Chaz Hyton, how about that? Making it 6 cars go in quickly. A 45.197 for Chaz Hyton. What an effort that was. There he is, car 17, the fastest lap of the weekend.
And he's running on his own, which is interesting. He's not anyone's toe, just charging of his own volition.
He's made good improvement since last year, this weekend.
He has. Well, that's second, third, fourth and fifth in our shot there. There's our leader, still Craig Pollard. And there was always a succession of fast laps banged in every time they come past the line.
Hyton's best result last year was 8th. So great improvements over last season. Okay, he's only 2 places higher than that today, but his pace right there with the top guns. Nowhere near fastest lap on lap 7, although a PB for Gore. He was the fastest on that lap as he gets closer to Gadd ahead.
And Gadd's getting closer, I sense, to Higginson. There's that group, and the back is the car with the white car with the red and blue flashes. That's Chaz Hyton.
The top 6 all in shot together after 8 laps. You don't get that in Grand Prix racing after 1 corner. So through they come, out of Clark Curve, the disc lock Jedi of Matt Higginson. He was 0.83 of a second behind. He's brought it down to half a second. The lead gap that Craig Pollard pulled out on those first 2 laps is coming down. Tell you what, Tom Westworth and Chris Keir's pace isn't far off. They're in the 45s too.
Yeah, Keir's been impressive, hasn't he? Done no single-seater stuff.
Yeah, he started car racing in 2020, the driver from Newcastle. He's with the Mattel team, but on a smaller budget than some of his teammates. So hasn't done the testing of some of them, but he's getting quicker. The former Clio racer finished 4th in the championship, the Clio Sport Championship, in the 182s. So here come the leaders. Higginson is closing in steadily on Craig Pollard, who went off quickly. Is that affecting Pollard's pace as the race goes on? 3.1 seconds separate the top 6. So that's half a second between each car. Gore is the closest to anybody. He's right on underneath the rear wing of Tom Gadd. Dan Gore, he started racing that 10 years ago in Caterhams. So many quick drivers have come through the Caterham Motorsport ladder over the years. He's out in the Mattel Cars liveried 80 car. Up towards paddock. Lead gap now 6/10. It's gone out by a fraction. And Chaz Hyton's done another fastest lap of the race on lap 10. 45.182 seconds, the fastest lap of the weekend. The aimshop.com fastest lap of the race. So Chaz Hyton is really starring during the course of this race. Track limit penalty going out to Bert Chapman, he's further back. There he is at the back of the queue, 17, Chaz Hyton, the star of this race. He's had the pace all weekend, but I think struggled in the early laps. But he's got a good start today, and therefore he's been able to stay with the lead group.
Probably inspired by the fact he's chasing Rob Wellham, who's quick. You've always got to chase someone who is experienced and learn with every lap. And he appears to be doing that very well. What's happened to Murphy Aldridge this year? He had a car that colour, didn't he?
Yeah,
I've seen him.
That's right. I think he had some good runs last year, Murphy Aldridge. Not out for this round, at any rate. And car to be lapped for Higginson up at Clearways. And I don't think that's affected the lead group much. The previous lap, Pollard had got the lead out to 8/10. Gadd may be slightly closer to Higginson, who in turn is a 10th closer to Pollard. And Gadd has got a run here through paddock, but he's still a couple of car lengths behind Higginson. So it's interesting here, the top 3 drivers have all won championships with the 750 Motor Club, all in very different cars, because Pollard won Formula V, Higginson won RGB sports cars, and Tom Gadd won in low cost. Out of the 3, probably low cost the least likely to convert to single-seaters, but I think Tom Gadd was a good karter before that, which is probably which transpires. But here comes the move, Gadd up the inside. That was a real look, but it didn't work out. Is that going to compromise him? Because Dan Gore's not far behind Marcus.
Yeah, I think he backed out of it knowing that it wasn't going to happen, so he didn't cost himself too much time, but Gore is still snapping at his heels, and Gore this time is closer. Down the inside comes Dan Gore, but he's not close enough to take the line going through Graham Hill Bend. Up onto the curbs they both come, but not extensively so. Rob
Wellham has been there or thereabouts today, but fifth earlier, and he's fifth not challenging again this time.
Hasn't looked quite so feisty since that rocket of a start yesterday put him into a decisive lead.
Interesting that, isn't it? How the 2 days have been different for Wellham. Still 3 seconds between the top 6. They've had another karter lap which didn't affect them. Chaz Hyton's right on terms with Rob Wellham here.
Yeah, it's super close, isn't it?
It's amazing after what we had 14 laps that the 6 are still in 3 seconds, which doesn't really happen in any other single-seater racing with wings and slicks. They're sort of as close as you would expect in a Formula Ford race, but without the big slipstream offered.
Yeah, that's right. The Formula Fords do so well because they don't have the wings. They race very close.
Up across the line again, 15 laps in the book. 1.3 seconds separate the top 4. Then there's another 1.3 seconds back to Wellham. So the top 4 are separated by that same gap that separate 4th and 5th. And Wellham has Chaz Hyton lunging up the inside, but couldn't make it, but making himself known in the mirrors on Wellham's car.
Yeah, Wellham's fallen off the back of the others now, hasn't he? That's done now. But Hyton looks really, they've rejuvenated by this, and he wants to have a go, but he probably needs to just get a good exit from clearways to stand any chance of getting into that braking area at Paddock. He's done just that. He's run round the outside. He's picking up momentum. He's getting into the toe.
And ahead there's a challenge. Whoa, big move from Gore up the inside of Gadd. Not sure if he made that stick, he didn't, but that looked all quite racy. The top 4 separated by a second now, as Chaz Hyton is going to make a lunge, and we're going to see an overtaking move in F1000 this weekend, or are we? Because Wellham is fighting back around the outside. They're wheel to wheel now as they come down towards Graham Hill Bend on the inside line. Rob Wellham hangs on. Can he get the car turned in out of Graham Hill Bend? He's sideways up over the curb, so it's not over yet. Hyton is on the inside as they go down towards Surtees, and he's through, I think. Chaz Hyton grabs the spot. He's up into 5th. Finally, it took, 3 or 4 corners for that move to finally finish.
Yeah, that was a well-planned and well-executed pass from Chaz Hyton, who's up into 5th place now.
Big battle for second into Paddock Hill Bend. Pollard is 7 tenths ahead. Not much, but the next 3 are separated by half a second. Gadd is looking to the outside of Higginson. I think we're still going to get another 3 laps in this.
Gadd going to try and get back inside. He's not quite close enough, but Dan Gore threatens all the time. And these 3 are incredibly close now.
Yeah, being like this all the way through. Being so close in these cars doesn't seem to affect you too much. Maybe a little bit of understeer produced in the aero wash. Higginson, though, is the wider one out of clearways. Is that going to give Gadd a chance here up towards Paddock? He's catching in the toe. He pops out of the toe on the left-hand side of the circuit. The high line into Paddock Hill Bend. He brakes as late as he dares, but Higginson's got the right line. Both of them are slid wide, which could give Gore a chance up into the hairpin here. Back to the outside comes
Gore
Gadd.
Get on the inside now. He tries. He gets into the. He gets in there, and they're still side by side as Gadd comes out of the hairpin and he's sideways. But he manages to hang in there. That was really brave response because Gore had his nose ahead there.
Yeah, and he stayed ahead, unlike what Wellham versus Hyton earlier. So there's going to be 1 lap to go at the end of this. A cracking battle this has been. That's all come particularly alive towards the end. But for Craig Pollard, he's 1 lap between himself and winning an F1000 race for the first time as this scrap continues behind. Gadd dives up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. Higginson turns the car in ahead of him still, though, somehow hangs on, and that has compromised him a little bit out of the corner. So Dan Gore is going to have another go, just like he did a lap ago, round the outside of Gadd. He's fully alongside and ahead. Great stuff from Dan Gore. He finished third in the 2 races earlier, and he's back into a third spot. So Tom Gadd, who had a couple of goes at Matt Higginson in the end, has lost a position in all of that. We have then one more corner to go, and Gadd's going to fight back up the inside of Dan Gore through clear way to go, and there's a touch possibly, and Dan Gore's off into the gravel. It's all gone wrong there for Dan Gore, but for Craig Pollard, he's going to be an F1000 winner for the first time. He punches here, he's delighted with that. The double Formula V champion showing the 750 Motor Club ladder. We've got now a single-seater racing, and a second season has come good, and Craig Pollard, I think, will probably be the championship leader as well, heading out of Brands Hatch. He won by 1.5 seconds over Matt Higginson, and Tom Gadd takes third. He was only 3/10 ahead of Chaz Heighton at the end after, well, it was hard to tell from the angle we saw whether there was a touch or not, but either way, Dan Gore ended in the gravel. Rob Wellham was 5th, Tom Westworth 6th, and then Chris Keir. But what a last few laps we had, Marcus.
Yeah, and Chaz Heighton with that fastest lap. Just the most. Dan Gore was mightily upset about that. You could see him banging the steering wheel with annoyance up at Clearways. The car just beached in the gravel. He just chucked his gloves into his crash helmet. Far from gruntled.
There might have been a few choice words there as well. Hopefully no one can lip read on the live stream. So let's have a look at the results. Craig Pollard the winner by 1.5 seconds. These gaps don't show reflection of the race we had there. Matt Higginson was 2nd, Tom Gadd 3rd, Chaz Heighton in 4th, Rob Wellham 5th, Tom Westworth, Chris Keir, James Glenell, Sam Sackford and Bert Chapman the top 10. Dan Gore won't be classified, so Josh Dement and Gunnar Johnsson will be moved up a spot. And we had a couple of non-starters, Ryan Thomas and Adam Walker. So we have one race to go in a few moments. We go from the fastest cars to the slowest cars. So we just have to adjust our brains for the next race, the lap times to expect. But great stuff then. Craig Pollard, there's no questions about his race because it was a light to flag victory then for Craig Pollard. And in a few moments' time, we will hear from him and from Matt Higginson and Tom Gadd as well.
An amazing race once again for the F1000 cars, and we've got Craig Pollard here. He has won the race and he is absolutely ecstatic. He's just been hugging his entire team. If I can just jump in here a second, Craig, fantastic job holding off the rest of them. Congratulations.
Feels so good. Worked so hard, you know, everyone has worked so hard. The pressure's on your shoulders, especially 2 seconds, and like I said to you, that can set the tone sometimes, but over the moon, so good, so good.
When you said earlier, it was just like, obviously you had 2 second places and it was like so close but yet so far, but you've finally done it.
The margins are so fine in this. There's no bad driver in this series, and it's that next step up from what I've been used to, and to get the reward like this is what you turn up for.
Absolutely, and just on a more of a track question, obviously the sun's come out as well, which is absolutely lovely and bizarre for England, but how has the track conditions changed since the session earlier?
Yeah, obviously it's dried up, track temp's gone up, tyre temp's gone up, but we're into the unknown with the Hoosiers. This is the 3rd race of the weekend. We've not used our banker set, so we're still on our first set of tyres from the weekend. They don't drop off as much as the Avons, so we're learning all the time. Car felt great, car felt really good.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on ending the weekend on a high.
Absolutely, yeah. On to Alton.
Absolutely. We'll see you there.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Second place, Matthew Higginson. Where is Matthew? I've lost him. He's over there, I believe. If I could just grab in with Matthew a second. Matthew, can I just jump in a second? Fantastic race for you. Obviously, a bit of had to defend quite a lot and a bit of attacking as well. How was it?
Yeah, as you can imagine, pretty stressful. Didn't get the amazing start I wanted, so yeah, I was behind Craig. You know, quite comfortable there following Craig. Couldn't really make any inroads. Just had issues with the engine at the start of the testing, so went maybe down a little bit there. So no, pleased overall. You know, salvage great weekend to be honest from yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations on the second place finish.
Well, yeah, thanks to the team Mattel, brilliant car, Alistair, sponsors Dislot, all my family watching at home. Hopefully enjoyed that one.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. And third place finisher, Thomas Gadd. Thomas, you were really locked in a very tight and ferocious battle there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'll say it's been close all weekend. We've all been within tenths of a second, so overtaking is always going to be difficult. My tyres were just going off massively towards the end of that race, and Dan got the inside, well, got around the outside of me at the hairpin really well, and I just managed to get up the inside of him into that last corner, and I don't know where, I don't seen the footage yet, so I can't really say what happened, but it was just unfortunate it ended that way, and really hope Dad's all right, and Dan's obviously Carl's all right.
Absolutely. And tell us more about obviously your weekend as a whole. How's it gone overall?
Started off all right, qualified on pole, but that was our first time on these new tyres, so it's been a bit of a learning streak. We're going well in that second race until a rose joint snapped on the rear end that just unfortunately cost us a potential third. But yeah, it's been all right, been mixed, but yeah, not too bad for us to start with, I suppose.
Absolutely. Do you reckon you could take the fight for the win in the next round?
Yeah, it'd be nice. Alton Park. See, I enjoy Alton Park, so we'll see. We're always going to be confident there, and we seem to have a good setup. But again, it'll be first time there on these new tyres, so I guess it'll be a lottery for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your third place finish.
Thank you
very much. Anyway, we're going to the last race of the day now. It's the historic formula coming up next.